Good morning, friends on YouTube and on Zoom. We'll begin in just a moment. Add the Facebook folks here. Good morning. Welcome to those of you on Facebook for our daily devotional. We'll begin in just a moment. Good morning and welcome to our daily devotional from Pilgrim Congregational Church. I'm Patrick Horn. Very glad to have you with us on this Wednesday morning, February the 24th, 2021. And this week we are in Mark chapter 8, the last 8 verses of Mark chapter 8. That's 31 through 38. And this morning we're going to focus on a single verse, one that should be very familiar to all of us. This is verse 34 in Mark chapter 8. He called the crowd with his disciples and said to them, "If any want to become my followers, let them deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me." Well, sometimes Jesus speaks in parables and in ways that are very difficult to understand. And sometimes he speaks very directly, as he does in this verse, very directly about what is required of those who want to be followers of Christ. And of course, we're very familiar with this passage, and I think there are all kinds of ways that people have interpreted this passage, but it's hard to get around the notion that following Christ requires sacrifice. There is a tendency, I think, among many Christians to, maybe this is true mostly of American Christians, a tendency to romanticize this notion of following Christ, of taking up a cross. And sometimes there may be a temptation to think of it as one grand one grand moment or action. But of course, daily following Christ is a good bit more boring than that, and is much more mundane. The famous professor of preaching at the Candler School of Theology in Georgia, I think he was a Disciples of Christ minister, Fred Craddock. He gave an analogy that he thought might be helpful, particularly to American Christians. He said, when Christians think of sacrifice in following Christ, they think of laying $1,000 bill on the table and saying, "There, I'm giving this to you." And he said he thought it would be more helpful to understand this sort of text as taking your $1,000 bill to the bank and getting all quarters, and then spending and then giving quarters away a little bit at a time. And I think that might be more accurate for most of us. Certainly there are grand gestures that we can make from time to time. But for the most part, following Christ involves these small moments of kindness, small moments of mercy and love and grace, and doing this sort of thing on a daily basis, I think is of course the difficult challenge. There's also when I think of daily difficult challenges, those of you who have raised children or have children will know what I mean. There was a famous novelist, can't remember her name now, who said that when you have children, you begin to realize that you're not a very nice person. that it's children that help you to see how many weaknesses that you have. And I think this is the very sort of thing that I think this was very sort of thing that Jesus is getting at, is that every relationship that we have is should be transformed in our following of Christ. Each and every relationship, our family relationships, our friendships, our coworkers, so that following Christ really is a series of these small moments of grace and kindness and love in these relationships in our lives. And on the one hand, that of course doesn't might not look like a very grand or big thing to do, but I think Jesus' point is that this is what transforms the world, that this is what redeems creation when we participate in God's love in this daily sort of way. Let's close with this word of prayer again from W.E. Orchard, and remember that this section of his prayer book is called the Outer Gate, so we're on the outside approaching the temple. O thou desire of nations, by whom the prophets spake, of whom the poets dream, for whom the people long, when wilt thou dawn upon our waiting vision? Age after age the heavens are scanned for the sign of thine appearing. We watch for thee more than they that watch for the morning. Yet all things continue as they have been from the beginning. Humans labor still for wrong. See the fruit of honest toil torn from them, and mingle tears with hopeless tasks. Still people sell their souls for a price, are forced to a traffic of shame. The poor cry for bread and are offered a stone. Not yet do we see the mighty cast down from their seat. Not yet hast thou exalted the humble and meek. The race is still to the swift and the battle to the strong. Where is the promise of thy coming? Forgive our impatience, O God, that would fling itself upon thy slowly turning chariot wheels. Thou thyself hast bid us watch and pray for the coming of thy kingdom. The promise was it should be soon. Perhaps thou hast come and the earth has rejected thee, come like a thief in the night and gone, come disguised as a child seeking love, a woman seeking justice, a man seeking souls, and we found no room for thee. Then, oh, come back to us again. Or dost thou wait till we are ready? Dost thou tarry till we turn from the trifles that now hold our hearts? Must we ourselves prepare the way? Oh, help us to understand. Help us to understand. Amen. Thank you for joining me this morning from Pilgrim Congregational Church. I'm Patrick Horn, and I hope you have a great day. Goodbye.